The number one source of 20 plus sources of sizzling hot sellers. My favorite, the one that so many realtors dread and shy away from, but that's exactly why, for those of us who can fix our mindset about it, it is a plethora of business. It is a cornucopia of business. People will say, the market sucks. They will complain. They will stand at the copier and the water cooler and they will talk about who's getting elected into office or how much they hate this buyer or this seller. They complain, complain, complain and make excuses. Others make excuses. Some of us make it happen. And the first thing that we need to do to make it happen is fix our mindset. Let's understand that 90% of anything and everything starts in our mind. It's how we perceive things, situations, people, places. So, number one is the expired listing. There, I said it. Whew. The expired listing. Let's talk about this for a minute because I get it. I can hear you from here. Expireds are nasty. They're jaded. They didn't sell because they overpriced. They didn't sell because they're hard to deal with. They this, they that, those people. I've heard it said that real estate agents who go after those expireds are sharks and they're listing stealers and they're horrible people. Believe me, I've heard it all. I remember being at a Board of Realtors conference one time, a huge, big open lobby, lots of plush leather couches. I'm sitting on the couch looking out the window at Mount Washington in New Hampshire, and I just happened to overhear a gaggle of biddies that for whatever reason, and I don't even know what brought the conversation up, but I could hear them talking about, ew, those agents that call expires, I can't believe how they have the nerve to steal our listings. Well, I'm sitting over just kind of relaxing, looking out the window, and I'm hearing what they're saying. We have to pick and choose every battle we go to. So I just listened to them, and I was just grinning from the inside out, knowing how wrong they are, how wrong they were, how wrong you are if you feel that way. Because when I would talk to an expired listing, the fact of the matter is, if that gaggle of women over there had actually done their job and gotten the listing sold before it expired, then someone like me wouldn't have to come in and save the day. So let's talk about expireds and why I love them so much. See, we can work really hard or we can work really smart. One of my favorite sayings, it's best to be firstborn, second wife, third realtor. Why is that? Because have you ever had a client that you knew that the property wouldn't sell for more than $700. You could see it in the CMA. Anybody and everybody with a brain could see that it wouldn't sell for more than $700, but their mother is a real estate agent and they know that their property's worth $850. And so you or someone else puts that property on the market for $850. And then months later it's dropped to $8, and before you know it, it's at $875, and then before you know it, it has expired. The fact is, a lot of the times when people first put their property on the market, they price it too high. One of the analogies that I give, I've got a client, I shared this with her, she's making calls to expireds, she's having a really hard time with the mindset of it, she has a little boy, and I said to her, I said, Ada, here's the thing, your little boy, you think he's beautiful, right? Oh yes, I love my little boy. You put your little boy in a beauty contest. You tell all of your friends that your son is going to win this beauty contest. You are so proud. You promote it. You let people know that little Billy, little Junior, is in this beauty contest. The blessed day comes. The beauty contest happens. Little baby boy is in the contest, and he doesn't get any votes. Nobody thinks he's pretty at all. Nobody votes for him, and he doesn't win. And you've been telling everybody that he would. See, a house is kind of the same way. Isn't it the fact that people's house is their baby? When they go to put it on the market, they think it's going to sell within a week. They think that their property is better than everybody else's. They think that even though the Johnsons got $750, they're going to get $850 because theirs is just a little bit better. So when they put their baby in that contest and the baby doesn't win, they're embarrassed, they're pissed off, they're not able to move on with their plans, whether it's a job transfer or downsizing or whatever it is. So we have to get into the mindset of an expired. They've been on the market for 6 months or a year or more, God forbid. 1 agent, 2 agents. I've been the 7th agent sometimes coming in to list a property. When we understand that the fact is expireds are not expired just because they priced it too high, their agent priced it too high, or their agent had really crappy pictures. I've got a book that I show people, and one of the ways that I take an expired listing is by showing the seller, look, here's what a listing looked like before I took it, here's what it looked like when I marketed it, and I can put them side by side, and I've got one where the front shot has a thumb in the picture. Like, that's the marketing that that agent did with their thumb in the picture. The point is that there's so many mistakes out there, and sellers don't always know exactly what they could have, should have, would have done. Call the expireds. Are some of them pissy and jaded? Yeah. Are some of them just really, really nice? Yeah. Are some of the phone numbers disconnected? Yeah. Knock on a door. I've got all kinds of ways that we can get in front of an expired listing. And the thing is that they are usually really motivated. I'll give you an example. I made a phone call a few years ago, and I get this woman on the phone, and she's friendly, and she is vivacious, and she is good to go. And I get over to her house, and I meet her. She's an expired, mind you. They're mean, they're nasty, they're jaded. Don't call them, they're hard to deal with. Well, depends on your mindset. Go over and I meet this woman, put her house on the market. Long story short, it is years later. Her name is Lindy Eldridge, and she is one of my dearest friends. We actually speak on stages together. We actually pick each other up from the airport, drop each other off. We've traveled together. The point is that I wouldn't have that friend of mine if I hadn't been making these phone calls. There is example after example. I have taken hundreds of listings with expireds. I've taken expired listings with people that lived in another state, and I never actually even met them. But I made a phone call, and because I listed it, we did all of the interaction via email or fax back in the day, or however that looks, or dot loop or whatever. Expireds are so yummy. I almost don't even want to take a listing if it's not expired. All of the others that I've shared with you, I've taken listings with all of those. Because the fact is, when you're a full-time real estate agent, there's only so many of these and so many of these and so many of these to talk to. So you get creative and you find the probates and you find the 1031 tax exchange and you find just listed, just solds. However, the best listing for me to take is when they've already been on the market. They already know 850 is not going to sell it. They already know that the open houses and the ads in the paper aren't going to sell it. There was another seller that I talked to that was an expired listing. Check this out. He was the inventor of this program in our state called Avatar. Avatar was one of the 3 programs that all of the cities used for their tax assessment department. He created one of those. Do you think he knew real estate agents? He knew a gaggle of them. He had his property on the market. It was listed at $775. And I asked him, where did he think it should be listed? He said $725. He gave me a $50,000 price reduction before I even got to the property. See, there's just a lot of miscommunication between agents and their clients. This gentleman I talked to on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes, and I had a $50,000 price reduction before I even went over there because I understood mindset. I understood creating a conversation. I understood keeping the questions on them. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about how great I was. It wasn't about my presentation over the phone. It was about 2, 1. 2, 1. Imagine this. When you're on the phone, everybody wants to know, Cami, what do I say here? What do I say there? Everybody's so worried about this. They're so worried about flapping their mouth that they're not considering how they should be listening, and not what to say, but how to say it. When somebody asks, what's your commission, for example, or when we're talking to someone about what they owe on their property, there's a difference in saying, what do you owe on that property anyway? As opposed to, hey, what do you owe on that property? Like, it's the same words, but it's how we're saying it. who were being with the posture and the confidence. Expired listings happen every day of the month. At the end of the month, there's even more. On the first of the month, it was like Christmas every year for every month for me, because the first of the month, lots of agents, for whatever reason, expire their properties at the end of the month. And I'll give you the very best day to prospect, period, hands down. The best day of the year to call expireds is January 1st. January 1st. Why? Because properties expire on the first of the month. For whatever reason, at the end of the month, thousands and thousands of properties are expiring. On December 31st, January 1st, you wake up and there are hundreds of them. That is just like, it's like a swarm of business coming your way. Second thing about January 1st is, guess what? Everybody's home. That's one day out of the year that everybody's home. And it's not Christmas when the kids are opening presents, it's January 1st. Are they hungover? I don't know, maybe, but they're home. I'll give you an example. One January 1st, I decided to put some packets in my car and go door knocking. The snow was about 3 feet high in the state that I lived in. I got to an expired listing. The driveway was several hundred feet. Couldn't even see the house from the road. I drove up that driveway, snaking around the driveway, deep snow, could get stuck, I don't know, but I'm going. Pull up, knock on the door. The seller looks at me, looks at the snow in my car, looks at me, looks at the snow. He said, if you drove through that to get here, you're listing our property. He pulled me inside and we listed the property right then and there. Guys, I've got a million of them. That's what happens. And the other thing about January 1st is nobody else is working. When was the last time you saw another agent in the office on January 1st, if you ever even see them in the office? When was the last time you heard of somebody else going out and doing business on January 1st? Personally, when I bought my house, I wrote a contract on January 2nd. So when people say people aren't doing business on this day or that day or this month or this holiday, the hell they're not. I put my offer in on January 2nd. People are getting ready for the new year, whatever that is. Expireds are the cream of the crop. They are cherry picking. You don't even have to reach up. You don't even have to make an effort. You just bend over and pick it up and you eat. Like, that's how great expireds are. The number one source of sizzling hot sellers. If you're brand new in real estate, you don't have a big center of influence, you don't have time to sit around and wait, you don't have hundreds or thousands of dollars for marketing, which is a waste of money and time anyway, you can be in the top 5% the very first year. I used to say you can make 100 grand your first year, but that might not be enough for you in your marketplace, but you can be in the top 5%. I was, and I did this 3 different times. I would get bored with real estate and go do something else because I'm very entrepreneurial. I'd start another business. I'd go do that for a few years, come back into real estate, quick 100 grand for a year, go do something else. The third time I did this, no center of influence, no calling around people that I knew begging for business, no mailers, no money out of pocket, doing exactly what I was taught to do by my mentors, which is talk to people who own property and are most likely to sell it. Expireds. When I called those expireds for September, October, November, and December that year, January of all months, 10 listings. 10 listings in one 30-day period, all from expireds and for sale by owners, all from coming back into the marketplace totally clean with no one else to talk to but expireds and for sale by owners, 10 listings in 1 month. I have a program called 10 listings in 30 days. 10 listings in 30 days is a 5-hour boot camp, if you will. I think of it as a boot camp. It's 15 years of my experience. It's tens of thousands of phone calls. It's thousands of appointments and hundreds of listings that I took over that time period. It is all of the investment that I made on trainings and walking on fire with Anthony Robbins and going to seminars and role playing and practicing and learning and getting told to fuck off and failing forward. Guess what? If you're not being told to fuck off, or if you're not getting hung up on at least once a week, shame on you. That means you're staying in your comfort zone and you're just not trying hard enough. 10 listings in 30 days is me putting all of that experience into 5 hours to just give little bits, little tastes, little nuances, strategy, and how to find who we want to talk to, learning what to say with the scripts, and most importantly, how to use the scripts and who are we being. Are you coming to the table from a place of contribution? Are you coming to the table wanting to help people? Are you coming to the table with confidence and posture and pride and packaging the product, which is you? 10 listings in 30 days will help you with that. I can help you with that. There's an e-course version, and if you're blessed enough to have 10 listings in 30 days, the live experience come to your area, it is something I highly recommend. It is fun, it is engaging, you will meet people, you will learn new ways of doing business, and I guarantee you, you will walk away with the newfound mindset of all of these 20 plus sources of sizzling hot sellers, what to say to them, how to say it, and just learning to communicate and conversate so you can collaborate, which is the listing. When you collaborate, you can create income, influence, and impact, and therefore have the resources, the relationships, and the revenue that rock. So, 10 listings in 30 days, click below, click to the side, private message me, Facebook me, LinkedIn me, send a carrier pigeon or a smoke signal, whatever you got to do to find out about 10 listings in 30 days. CamiBaker.com here with the Keeping It Real and Real Estate brand, and I look forward to serving you and helping you to get more listings than you ever thought was possible.